Hey guys, welcome to the spot. Keps here with a new video. MoP Discipline Priest. What has changed so far? Part 2. Let's get into it. The first thing we'll talk about today is talent. As you have certainly heard by now, in MoP the new talent and spec system is very probably the greatest change we've seen so far in the whole game. Talents are no longer bonded to your spec, and you can't actually place more than 1 point in any of the 6 individual talent levels. They are now individual abilities, and none of them is truly mandatory in any absolute way. For the first time in the game thus, we truly have some sort of a choice to make that will mostly vary and depend on the specific boss we are fighting, or on our raid composition, or simply on the way we personally prefer doing things. And to facilitate this talent switching even some more, we get a new item called Tome of the Clear Mind, which allows us to instantly change any of our talents without having to go to a class master. So yeah, for the first time we do have a say, and our personal flavor is actually taken into account when it comes to choosing our talents. On my level 30 talent, I for example chose Body and Soul as my baseline choice. It allows my power word Shield and Leap of Faith to also increase the target's movement speed by 60% for 4 seconds. It's very helpful to get out of stuff while you are at the same time protected thanks to the shield you just placed. And it can also be used to simply increase speed on command and get quicker to wherever you need to get. As an alternative, I could have chosen the talent just next to it, Angelic Feather, which allows me to place feathers on the ground that increases allies' movement speed for 4 seconds when they walk on it. It's really great to continuously increase speed and move quicker to a given location, but in order for it to work, you actually need to step on it, and this is why I preferred Body and Soul as a baseline movement talent, since you don't need any placement requirement to get the speed buff. In any case, I'll definitely go pick Angelic Feather in situations where I simply need to get to a given position as quick as possible, or simply to kite something. At level 60, we also get some interesting talents for the priest's personal use. I personally went for Angelic Bulwark, which places an absorption shield on me whenever I drop to 30% HP. It has a 90-second internal cooldown and lasts for 20 seconds. I could certainly see many cases in which the alternative Desperate Prayer could be more interesting. But again, as a baseline, I prefer the Bulwark, since it actually works passively and automatically procs whenever I most need it. I personally tend to not necessarily think about the prayer when I suddenly drop in HP, and simply use a regular healing spell to get back up, making it useless for me. But this is just a personal preference, and absolutely not a general thing. At level 75 we get to choose another interesting talent. I went for Divine Insight, which gives my opponents a 40% chance to make my next shield both ignore the weakened soul effect and not place it. Again, Power Infusion and Twist of Fate are both very handy and even more interesting in many cases. And so choosing this particular talent will depend very much on your personal gameplay preference, as they are all three very good and have very diverse applications. For example, if you use very often your shield, you might want to go for Divine Insight, like I did. But if on the other hand you are constantly healing low life allies, or there are low life adds, then you might want to go for Twist of Fate, which would then be the better choice. At level 90, we also get to choose between 3 new multi-target abilities, which allows us to deal a great amount of AoE healing to allies or damage to enemies. They have more or less short time cooldowns and so can be used frequently as powerful multi-target abilities. In addition to all these talents, we also get a great deal of new glyphs that significantly improve many of our abilities. I won't go through all of them here, however, since you could easily find the whole list on the MoP website. Here is a quick list of the new ones. As you can see, some old abilities and talents like Holy Nova have simply been turned into glyphs. Some changes have been made to a couple of old glyphs as well, such as the Power Word Shield glyph, which now converts 20% of the shield amount into heal and not increase it by an additional 20% heal. So if your shield provides 40k absorption, with this new glyph it would provide 32k absorption plus 8k heal, making it completely worse than what we had. I personally went for Prayer of Menden, Penance and Holy Fire glyphs, as they are the ones that provide the greatest healing and utility in most situations, but you can sure go for a different, more appropriate set depending on the fight. And that's it for talents and glyphs. Next up is our passive skills. Since talents aren't spec bonded anymore, in MoP once you choose a spec, you automatically get most of the spells and passive skills you used to have on the Cataclysmic talent tree. I won't be going through them all thus, as you already know how they work, and so in this last section we'll be focusing on how the Archangel Atonement spec has changed. The Archangel spec is now given passively thanks to the new baseline passive skills Evangelism and Atonement, which can now also proc with our Penance spell in addition to Smite and Holy Fire. And so the way I use this spec is quite simple. First off, I never try to keep people alive only with my Smite and Holy Fire heals. I rather use them to proc enough stacks of Evangelism of my Archangel cooldown. What I often do is use Holy Fire as soon as it's up. This way, by the time Archangel is off its cooldown, I already have 3 stacks of Evangelism and only need an additional 2 smites to get to 5 stacks and use Archangel again. Thus, I only use this spec for that awesome Archangel cooldown, and not to try to keep people alive with my Smite and Holy Fire heals. In most situations, that heal simply isn't enough to get the job done. Archangel also has a pretty short cooldown for its uptime, so unless you are keeping it for a specific burst phase, you can simply go ahead and use it as soon as it's up, unless there's really nothing to heal, of course. Another new passive skill which used to be a glyph is Divine Fury, which allows most of our holy attacks to have a 15% hit chance, and so always hit, which means we no longer need that glyph to use the Archangel spec. And that's it for now, guys. I hope this was helpful in some way. As always, feel free to comment. If you did like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you do like these videos in general, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. In any case, thanks a lot for sticking around, and I hope to see you in the next one.